So Senator Friedman is actually presenting two bills, one having to do with pesticides, but let's start first with your product safety bill on flame retardant chemicals. That's item 4, that's AB 1059.
Thank you. AB 1059 prohibits the sale and distribution of juvenile products, mattresses, and upholstered furniture that contains fiberglass, and also restricts the use of flame-retardant chemicals in adult mattresses. While the original focus of this bill was fiberglass, as the bill moved forward, I became aware of other flame-retardant chemical issues with mattresses. I think all of us want to know that when we lay down to sleep at night, we're not unintentionally putting our health at risk, and that's what this bill ensures. In 2018, AB 2998 was signed into law. That bill banned the use of flame-retardant chemicals in the foam part of mattresses, which is the inner part of mattresses, but still allowed flame-retardant chemicals in the other components of the mattresses. In order to eliminate any regrettable substitution problems that may arise from banning the use of fiberglass, AB 1059 is addressing those flame-retardant chemicals too, and does so by eliminating the exemption for these other components. Both the federal government and the state of California have set standards that limit the flammability of mattresses for obvious reasons, and also upholstered furniture. For a long time, toxic flame-retardant chemicals were used to meet those standards. But in recognition of their negative health impacts, the laws and regulations were changed at both the federal and state level to prohibit the use of these chemicals because many of them are carcinogenic. While most manufacturers altered their manufacturing methods to use natural flame-retardant materials such as rayon, latex, and wool to meet the standard, which they do very easily, some turned to fiberglass as a thermal barrier. Now, fiberglass is a man-made mineral fiber that is composed of cilia, sand, limestone, and recycled glass, and soda ash that has a lifespan of more than 50 years. When individuals unzip or open mattress covers, unintentional exposure to fiberglass can occur. In addition, there is concern that even when the mattress or couch covers are not disturbed, the fiberglass particle escapes to the surface, leading to exposure. Now, fiberglass is irritating to the eyes, lungs, and skin. Long-term exposure to fiberglass is associated with lung disease, including pulmonary fibrosis. Short-term inhalation exposure to fiberglass may cause lung inflammation and bronchiolitis. Fiberglass fibers can cause visual changes, bleeding, and scarring if they end up in your eyes. We know that only 13% of mattresses contain fiberglass as a thermal barrier, so it's not necessary. These products can and are safely made without fiberglass, thereby effectively eliminating accidents, leakage, or other mistakes from happening that needlessly expose the public and people in the recycling and disposal industries to this substance. Manufacturers do not have to turn to flame-retardant chemicals as a substitute for fiberglass, and that's very important. Given the small amount of mattresses on the market containing fiberglass and the availability of alternatives to meet federal and state flammability standards, our bill would ban the use of fiberglass to protect public health. Now, I've been working very closely with the International Sleep Products Association since the bill's introduction, and I want to thank them. They have been great to work with, and I know that they share our goal of getting rid of fiberglass in mattresses, and they want to avoid any unintended consequences. As the analysis points out, the remaining issue for ISPA is whether to allow an exemption for monocritic fibers. At this time, I'm not comfortable with adding that exemption. It's only used in about 13% of mattresses, and there's a lot of evidence that it's harmful. We don't see any reason why we should continue to allow their use. Testifying in support in behalf of our sponsor, Environmental Working Group, is Bill Alyard and Jordan Wells with the National Stewardship Action Council, and I would respectfully urge an aye vote.
Committee, I am Bill Alio with the Environmental Working Group and happy to be sponsoring this bill. The author and EWG became aware of the fiberglass issue at about the same time last year. It was written up in the Los Angeles Times about a woman in Sacramento who was exposed to fiberglass and got it in her bedroom, and her daughter was exposed. So that's how the bill came about. From the start, the industry's been represented by the International Sleep Products Association, and they didn't oppose the removal of fiberglass. I think they see the handwriting on the wall. But as we progressed, as Ms. Friedman said, we became aware of other chemicals that were not necessarily banned by AB 298 by Mr. Bloom in 2018. And also, New York State recently passed a law banning those two chemicals within 2 years altogether. So we've been looking at those closely. And so we've been in discussions with ISPA, and I want to put in a note here that we've been sharing science with them, dissecting this science together, and talking to the regulatory agencies at both the state and federal agencies to try to get this right. We've reached a point where one of the two chemicals, aramids, which are used in Kevlar and Nomex, we've set that aside as very likely non-hazardous to the consumer, but we're still concerned about monocrylics. We remain concerned that the hazard assessments on monocrylics are now becoming out of date, so we're not comfortable with saying go ahead and keep using them. We know this is an innovative industry. Witness the bed in a box. We recently undid one for my wife's stepmom. You take it out of the box and suddenly you have a double bed in front of you a couple hours later. So, and they are innovative, and they're also very aware of consumers don't want bad chemicals in their mattress, and they're working hard to get those out. So that combined with Assemblymember Friedman's strong commitment to consumer safety says that I think we'll get to a pragmatic solution on this bill that protects consumers and works for the manufacturers. And now for the bigger picture, long-term picture, the next witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. I am Jordan Wells on behalf of the National Stewardship Action Council, a nonprofit that advocates for an equitable circular economy. I also sit on the state's Mattress Advisory Committee, which advises the Mattress Recycling Council as it implements the statewide mattress stewardship program that was created by a law passed by the legislature in 2013. We strongly support AB 1059, which would ban textile fiberglass in mattresses, upholstered furniture, and juvenile products and restrict the use of flame-retardant chemicals in adult mattresses. The first pillar of achieving an equitable and circular economy is to design out waste and pollution out of the system, which is less expensive than having to pay for it for cleanup. Flame retardants and fiberglass negatively impact human and environmental health. They also complicate the recycling system, adding challenges for recyclers and increasing costs, as stipulated by Terry McDonald, who also sits on the advisory council and represents the largest mattress recycler in Northern California. AB 1059 will protect consumers and recycling workers from harmful additives that also make recycling more expensive. I want to thank Assemblymember Friedman for her leadership and respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go to folks who want to weigh in and support, express support for the bill, AB 1059.
Mr. Chair and members, Lauren De Valencia representing the International Sleep Products Association. We actually have a support if amended position on the bill. We have been working really great with the author's office, with the sponsors, and we appreciate all the conversations we've had on this bill. As Assemblymember Friedman noted, we're still discussing one particular fiber in specific. It's not a flame retardant chemical. It's inherently fire resistant. Mattress manufacturers do not add flame retardant chemicals, the chemicals of concern in AB 2998, to their mattresses. However, with the removal of that exemption in AB 2998, that does open up the question about two specific fibers that are inherently fire resistant but could be captured under the broad ban definitions in the bill. So we're continuing to have that conversation, but we really appreciate the conversations on the bill. We have some additional information we'll be sharing with the author's office soon, and we continue to work on that issue. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Other folks who want to raise concerns about the bill or express opposition? Okay, let's go to the phone lines. This is people who want to comment on AB 1059.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to comment in support or opposition, please press 1 then 0. We'll be going to line 148.
That was just right
Go
now.
ahead.
Yes. The one I did earlier today was for the.
But I didn't hear you say it on it.
148, your line is open.
For AB 418.
When? How many minutes ago?
I don't know, 10 minutes?
And we do have others that have queued up. One moment while their line number is given. Next we'll go to line 150. Please go ahead.
This is Kim Cosby from Non-Toxic Neighborhoods, and we are in strong support. Thank you.
Next we'll go back to 148. Please go ahead.
Could have completely. See, I need to get in the inner lane. This is like to get off at a different street.
Next we'll go to line 161. Please go ahead.
Hello, did you say 161?
Yes.
My name is Sarah Van Manchen, and I support AB 1059.
Next, we will go into line 160. Please go ahead. (160), your line is open.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Garfinkel, and I'm in support of the bill.
Next, we'll go to line 156. Please go ahead.
I'm Henry Babcock, and I support the bill. Thank you.
Next, we'll go to line 163. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ann Valerio. I support the bill.
And there's currently no one else in the queue, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you. And we got to hear a lot of interesting things in there. Let's bring it back to the committee for questions, comments, thoughts. Mr. Vice Chair.
I just would like to move the bill. I think it's a good bill. I voted for the Bloom bill. I think I was one of the few Republicans that actually supported that bill, and so glad to see you're working with the opposition to try to get to an even more happy place. So happy to support your bill.
Great. Thank you. All right. With that, let's let you close.
I think we can all sleep better when this bill is passed.
Yeah, that's true. You've been planning that one. All right. So the item's been moved by Senator Dawley. Secretary, please call the roll.
AB 1059, the motion is due pass and re-refer to the Committee on Business Professions and Economic Development. Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Dowley?
Aye.
Dowley, aye. Gonzalez? Hurtado? Hurtado, aye. Menjivar? Wynn? Skinner?
All right. So that's 3-0. We'll leave that roll open for other folks to add on.